part two. But in the first few months of this year, I ended up being the only person to close that store. Yeah, we had an overnight assistant manager helping out, doing the final pull and all that. But I was the only real associate left. That tells you something right there when I'm the only associate left on the floor from the regular shifts. And all because management, well, not management, but all because the scheduling is askew. Now, do we have the right to go out and say, hey, we're going to take this day off, or we want to take this day off? Do we have the right to do that? If we do it a month or a few weeks, 3 weeks to a month or so in advance, yeah, we have the right. And why? Because it gives them time to figure out, okay, who can we schedule? Like with me, I asked for this upcoming weekend off because one is my grandma's 90th birthday, and I know that whatever we do afterwards, I might want to have Sunday just to rest. And also go to church, because my mom's been always asking, when are you going to go to church? Because that's one thing about my schedule, it conflicts with that. It's the same with this upcoming week, the weekend after. And that works out fine too, because I can do my taxes and I can relax the next day too. Now, does it add an additional 2 extra days off to the 2 regular scheduled days they're giving me? Of course. But I'm not the only one. The same with the week of the week of Easter. Well, according to my schedule, the April 4th to the April 10th schedule. I have asked for Easter, which I don't know if I'll get off or not, and if not, that's okay. I've asked for the 9th, the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now, the 9th and the 10th could pretty much be okay, because here's how I look at it. The 9th and the 10th are the same week as Easter. It's the same week of the 4th and all that. So that would count maybe as 2 days off, maybe 3 for me. The 11th and 12th would count as the first 2 days off for me for the next week. And also, it would allow me to be at church to represent my family. You see, that's the one thing that my mom always looks at. My mom always looks at it like somebody's got to be there for my family. The last time something like this happened was when my sisters took my mom to Las Vegas for her 60th birthday. I think it was her 60th. And not only did they take her there, it gave me a few days alone to myself at this house. Not as long as what I'm going to have, but it gave me a few days. And like I said, it gave me a few days. And that was in 2009. That was the last time something like this happened. So it gave me a few days. I wasn't working, and Walmart wasn't even built yet. But still, it gave me some time to myself. Now, even if my store had been built at that time and I was working there at that time, then yeah, I probably would have asked for that same kind of time off. But the way I look at it, I'm going to have an opportunity to be able to do things by myself for as long as I want, and not have to worry about it. So, with that said, it's going to be a very interesting scenario. It's going to be a very interesting situation. But again, like I was saying, when you ask for that time off, they have, most of the time, unless it's a major holiday season, they got to give it to you. We got to respect that. Thanksgiving is a different story. Will I be able to take that off this year? I don't know. I know this. I do know this. That if I don't take it off, that's fine. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But again, here's my again getting back on topic. When you ask for that time off, they have to majority of the time respect what your decision, respect that you need that time off, and give it to you. That's what they need to do. It's not vacation, it's not bereavement or anything. It's if you say personal or family obligations, then hey, they got to give it to you most of the time because they know something could be coming up. Like this weekend is family obligations. End of story. But again, that's the whole thing about about this. You know, like I mentioned earlier, nobody is very fond of the scheduling sometimes. Well, you know what? Sometimes you got to deal with it. And like I said, they give you the opportunity to take some time to have days off, but you got to request it. And that's the one thing some people need to realize. If they want certain days off, they either got to talk to the assistant or they got to say, hey, look, they got to say, hey, look, I'm going to go and request these days off. So, but anyway, it's been a very interesting year. I'll say that at the least. It's been one of those years that when you look back on it, you say, man, what a year. What a first year impression. The thing is, we had a lot of people leave, transfer, leave sometimes temporarily for maternity leaves, and come back. It's like, leave, go to the stores, and come back. It's one of those situations. So it's been quite an interesting year. I'll say that, and that's really all I have to say about my first whole year. The positive about this is getting the bonus that will be directly deposited tonight, and that's a blessing right there. So, along with my regular check, that's a blessing right there. So, that's just one of the things. I mean, a lot of constant changes, folks. Just a lot of constant changes. And, what's funny is one of the things they tell us to do, and I'm sure this is true with any store, is always try to get people to buy credit cards or apply for credit cards. We're trying that. We really are. But majority of the time, the people look at us like, we ain't here to buy no damn credit cards. We just want to come in, shop, and get out. And I look at that, folks, and I'm like, okay, I get that. I understand that. I get that. I understand that. But they have to understand sometimes it's our job. And then, of course, you got one thing I'll say this in closing. One thing I have noticed in my year there is this: the customers can be very rude. I mean, the other day I had a couple at self checkout, and I don't know what it was with them. They said, "Oh, never mind, we'll do it like this," and because the husband said, "Oh, don't worry, I know how to do this," And then the wife tells me, oh, by the way, your deli is hideous. It's like, hello, we constantly have people working at times. We're constantly trying to update and put fresh stuff out. You can't just say it's hideous just because it doesn't meet your standards. I mean, what do you think was supposed to be? El Chilante? It's like, you get people like that. Get people that are just rude and stuff. It's like holy moly. I mean, I'll say this. The other day, I spent 20 minutes of what was supposed to be my first break in a site to store, which I've learned. And apparently, the .com services for us have been messing up on their side, because instead of getting the guy what he has ordered, instead they end up trying to resell and refund something that's was already brought back, and he's not happy. And he let my assistant manager know it. He let my CSM know it. Heck, in a sense, he let me know it. Now he said, "Look, I understand it's not you guys' fault, but still, somebody has to do something." And he was PO'd. And of course, the guy was probably about 70-ish or something, 70-ish. So some might say that's an account for it, but still, he was PO'd. And I told him, "Sir, I understand exactly where you're coming from. I know exactly where you're coming from, because I ordered something from Amazon recently, and it didn't get here to the day after it was scheduled to arrive. So go figure on that one." But again, like I said, he was not happy whatsoever. He was PO'd. He was pissed, and I don't blame him. But still, it's like, you can't just expect something out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? You got to be patient. And sometimes, we're looking around. And my assistant manager, obviously she's willing to go beyond the Call of Duty if she has to. That one thing I do know about. She's okay. She's obviously a good person. She's a cool person, but and I think she's very open, very talkative. Could be very open, but she's by the books as well. But she makes sure things get done. But she's very open. She went everywhere in that store. She called store after store after store to try to find if they had what this guy was looking for. So did my CSM, and it's like, we're trying our best. And I told him, I apologized so many times, and like I told him, example on my part, I was supposed to get a package from Amazon the day it was scheduled to be here. I got it the day after, which wasn't good. So you meet these kind of people, and he basically said he knows somebody, I think a son or a grandson, that works in the upper echelon of the .com services for the company, and that he could write a letter that would create a huge shitstorm of trouble if things don't go his way. If he doesn't get what he ordered delivered to the place he's at that day. And it's like I said, you can't expect something like this to go, here it is, out of thin air. So it's like, with all due respect to the customer, we're doing our best. And then if that's not the case, if that's not something else, I get pulled into 100 to be a witness, because obviously one thing I've noticed at our store, and I'm sure it's not the only one in the Central Valley or in the state of California or anywhere, a young 17-year-old kid gets pulled in. Obviously you could tell he's high on something. He's not stoned, but he's kind of high on something. He's just stoned out of his mind. He gets pulled in. He gets caught. Him and his friend get caught. Well, at least he gets caught. His friend gets away. I'm pulled in to be a witness. So I'm pulled in, and I'm kind of tired at times, and I'm kind of very tired, and I'm tired that day, but I'm still doing it. So I get pulled in to help be a witness. And no sooner than 15-20 minutes after I'm pulled in, this kid stands up. This is what he does. He stands up, like this. He stands up, pushes the trash can with his foot a little bit, spits out some M&Ms, opens the door, takes a break for it, or makes a break for it. And he nearly ran into another customer, a lady customer coming in, and we noticed that on camera. So anyway, the sheriff comes in, the sheriff deputy comes in. We have to tell him what's going on. So the 100 guy, or the AP, if you will, or PA, whatever he's called, has to put my name down in the report that I was a witness. So, and apparently that's something that we're doing. If it's a male if it's a male culprit that gets caught, male witness from Walmart, male associate has to be a witness. If it's a female culprit that gets caught, it's got to be a female associate. So it's just one of those situations like, are you freaking kidding me? And you're probably asking, well, what did this kid do? What did this kid steal? What do kids at that age like to try to get their hands on, but they can't because they're underage? Exactly, alcohol. And this has been a trend I've noticed in the past year at my job. One night, we had somebody, sorry about that. One night, we had somebody stick the hands, had something, they had one of the hoodies on, right? They had their hands in it like this, and they walked down. You could tell something was in there, but you didn't know what. You could tell something was in there, and obviously it had to be alcohol. Well, you didn't know what. Some people might know what, but I kind of had an idea it was alcohol. Because when he walked out, the alarm, the door alarm thing went doo 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 doo. So, yeah, we've had that. We even had a guy. Here's what was strange one time. In fact, I think October, November, we had a guy. He took some shoes, right? He took some shoes, and apparently we were told by the lady that worked in the shoe area at the time what was going on. But basically, he took some shoes, and this might sound confusing, but what he did is he took the shoes, he took his old shoes, put them in the box, took the more expensive shoes, again, this sounds confusing. He took the more expensive shoes, like I say, he took his old shoes, he put them in the box, or he did something. He took the more expensive shoe box, okay, he took the more expensive shoe box, or he took the more expensive shoes, he put them in, again, it just sounds confusing, but basically it was more like he took the more expensive shoes, put them in a cheaper shoe box, or something. I don't know, and again, he had other shoes that he had on. Obviously, he was going to pay for those, or he's going to do something with them. I don't know who that is at a Lodi, but he was going to do something with them.